going on, Reef Builders? I'm Jake Adams. Welcome back to another video, a proper video from the Reef Builder Studio. I know the last couple of weeks we've been doing Reef Stock at Home, our live event conference. We've been doing our brand new long discussion kind of podcast format called Reef Therapy, where me and my buddy Mark kind of take a deep dive in just all kinds of reef aquarium topics. But today I have a little bit more focus for you guys. I want to talk about my dosing pumps and dosing setups. Now, for the longest time, up until about 15 years ago, pretty much every dosing pump was repurposed from the medical or industrial fields, and there wasn't any ready-made aquarium dosers for adding calcium, buffer, and magnesium and other additives to your aquarium. But the last 10 to 15 years has seen an absolute explosion of different models and different companies getting in the space. And it can be really confusing when you only see a box and prices at the local fish store or in your web cart online. So I'm going to try to show you a good, better, best option for how I add different additives to my reef tanks. But I really want to stress, and I'm going to say this again at the end of the video, that at the end of the day, all of these dosing pumps do their primary function of adding a precise amount of fluid to the aquariums. And there's a reason that I use them, because if I didn't trust them, if I didn't like them, if they had some real deal breaker setbacks, obviously I wouldn't be sharing them with you. So let's go ahead and start off with our first aquarium here. This is the Sea Reefer Peninsula, and it has a good amount, not totally packed, but a good amount of Montipora and SPS corals. They're growing pretty good. I've also got kind of a large blue squamosa there in the center, and these guys definitely have a good appetite for mineral replenishment. And on this aquarium, I am using one of the most basic dosing pumps on the reef aquarium hobby. This is the John Lenn MyCom doser. It has no smart features, no wireless connectivity. It is a purely analog box. You might recognize this because this particular dosing pumps has been rebranded by almost every company around the world. I think I've seen this John Lenn dosing pump with Tropical Marine Center's label, Grotech, Blau, Ice Cap, Easy Reefs, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but basically it just has a digital readout here on the top. This is how you change your dosing volume. This is how you change the dosing frequency, and then this is something to access kind of the calibration functions and counter primer button. So I really like this one because it's really hard to get in trouble with it. It has, again, your analog readout there on the top, and they are all daisy chained, so I can use one power supply to drive all of these. So here I'm dosing 8 mLs every 3 hours of the calcium, 20 mLs once a day of the magnesium, 7 mLs every hour of the buffer. I like to dose buffer hourly to keep the pH up. And then we have just kind of, the wild card. We're getting 1 mLs every 2 hours of the Aqua Power. And to keep the setup a little bit more basic, I am using the Red Sea 1 gallon dosing jugs. And as you can see, these dosing jugs have a translucent window right there on the side. It's not the clearest, but if you have good lighting, you can see how much fluid is left inside. Now, you guys know I like to color code my bulk additives. So we have calcium, magnesium, and buffer, and you can really tell how much is left in each of these. So this is a really standard kind of entry-level setup. These are $50 a piece, so not counting the cost of the additives, you're in it for about $200 for a 4-channel dosing setup. Really reliable. Otherwise, other companies wouldn't have gone to such great length to relabel them. And then moving right along, this is my Australia-inspired Reef aquarium. This kind of a lower light Cade Australia tank. I've got my Illumagic LEDs here with the Gangster Lean. Underneath, I've got my Dalua Australia Great White Skimmer and Great White Return Pump. And the primary doser for this particular aquarium is the Ecoral. So this one is almost like the total opposite of the John Lenn doser because it doesn't have any buttons on it. So this is completely app controlled. It has very similar dosing heads, but because it's app controlled, you can basically program all of the dosing functions on the fly from your phone. I don't even think you need to be home to adjust the dosing. And then these are my different dosing containers. So here we get into some custom-made dosing bottles, basically. These are from Arca. I put a piece of white tape on the back to reflect light a little bit more. And we've got the buffer, got calcium, magnesium, and aqua power. And so one thing I do really like about the Ecoral doser is that since it's app controlled, it's one of the kind of mid-tier dosing setups that will alert you to when your dosing containers are running out. Because this is something that gets me in trouble a lot with the John Lenn's is everything is so automatic that I'll be testing the water and I'll see that my alkalinity is down or calcium is down, and the first thought always goes to, oh, I've got a broken pump or I've got a clog of dosing lines, but every single time it's because the dosing bottle ran out. So the Ecoral doser is going to be able to send you notifications if you are running low on dosing additives. And you guys know I'm a gravity float switched auto top off kind of guy, but the Ecoral doser works with the Ecoral controller, which has a water level sensor. So you can use one of those dosing pump heads as an auto top off pump. So that's pretty cool. And then my best setup is here on the Waterboxx Peninsula. This tank has a variety of corals on both sides of the tank, very heavy mineral demands. And so for this particular aquarium, I am using the Ecotech Marine Versa dosing pumps. So these were engineered for like over half a decade with a pancake style motor and a planetary gears to get like a ton of torque. Really cool dosing pumps. They have quick disconnect fittings built right in, so I can use the semi-rigid water line, and the peristaltic tubing is easily replaceable almost as a cartridge, although they have one of the longest lasting tubings available on the market. And this is a purpose-built dosing container. I believe it was from Artfully Acrylic, and once again it's color coded, so I know exactly what's inside. Got calcium, magnesium, buffer, and my fourth kind of wild card container is usually going to be aqua power. One of the things I really like about the Versa dosing pumps is they're part of the Mobius dosing, the Mobius control platform, and they have a really great continuous dosing mode, which is excellent for the buffer, so you can keep your pH up instead of spiking it periodically throughout the day. Or better yet, for your calc reactors. It has the power to push a really long distance, and you can calibrate these just as well as the Ecoral. But we have a $200 price point, a $400 price point, and a $600 price point. But at the end of the day, they all get me to where I need to go, and that's adding a specified amount of calcium, buffer, and magnesium, and some other additives to the tank. So no matter your budget, there's a lot of different dosing options. I trust all of these. I love all of these, and that's why I use them and still use them. So if you have any questions or comments about dosing pumps, dosing setups, or dosing routines, now's the perfect time to pop those down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. I really hope you enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Later, guys.